Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, and subscribe, y'all. I say it so often. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are now looking at AMD, and as you can see, we closed at the 198.62. Now, what's interesting, y'all, it's a lot going on in the, with the world situations or conditions, right? So we got to be careful. The market is telling a story, but be careful. I'm going to say it again. That's my disclaimer. Trade carefully, right? So again, we closed at that 198. We've made a pre-market low thus far of 189.53, which is the low of this candle. But I need to go and mark a level. Why? Because yes, I look at the wick, but the body is what's interesting at this point for me. What is the body of the candles is telling us that we met up at this area here around the 189.93. So I need to remember that, right? So trouble places back to the upside. We were having trouble at this, let's say the 20 EMA. If you're using the moving averages, it's telling us again, but we knew that by this area over here that we could possibly have trouble, in this area here, right? So somewhere in that area we could possibly have trouble if you're not using the moving averages. We know that, again, that's a trouble place, right? Just wanted to point that out. Just you look charting tips, right? So back to the upside, using the 20 EMA, 192.48 could be a trouble place for us. Should we break that level, we could possibly have trouble again somewhere around this area of 193.48. And should we break that level, 193.82, and again 194.26, breaking the 194.26. I have 194.58, not very far away, which is our 200, or y'all, let me get it right. It is our ATR trail and stop. And I like to see that, this area here. Why? Because should we break that, we could very well come back to the 195.67 and breaking that 196.64. And you see here, there's a few layers of support or resistance in this area here up to the 197.53. And should we break that 198.66 and breaking that brings us back to close to that 199.07, which, our 200 EMA as of now 199.30. So those are possible areas of resistance. Again, not financial advice. To the upside for AMD. Now let's look to the downside. We just marked this level 189.93. Why? Because price, we met up at that place, right? So back to the downside. Let's say we break under the 190.65. We just marked the 189.93. Breaking that level. Again, something did stop us at the 189.53. That could be another support area for us. However, breaking that 189.01. Now, breaking the 189.01, we could very well come back to the 187.38. But keep in mind, we could get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So that's something to be mindful of if AMD is something that you trade, right? 187.38. Should we break that? 186.74. And breaking that 185.26. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. Now breaking that 185.26 for AMD today, 184.43, and again 183.97. So those are possible areas of support and resistance. Again, I said often, mark your levels. Once it goes against your why or your reason for getting in the trade, get out. Why? So that we can live to trade another day, right? So we are looking at Amazon, and as we see here, I'm going to see if I can, kind of, sort of, right in this area here, body and wick, right? So we kind of got a lot of support in this area for Amazon. We did close at 208.39, but just looking at 202.65 and the level we just marked 202.34, not very far away. But let me say this now, I use support and resistance on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places could be, right? So As of right now, support areas for Amazon is, around this 202.65. Should we break that to the downside, 202.34, and breaking that level for Amazon today, 201.94. Should we break that, 201.47, and again 201.22. Now, should we break the 201.22 for Amazon, $200.44 could be a support area. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. Now, should we break that $200.44, we could very well come back to 199.40. Again, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So if you're trading Amazon today, these are possible areas of support. Now, back to the upside, we will need to get back above the 204.46 or 204.36, and we could possibly again have trouble 204.92 and breaking that. There's a few layers of resistance. Y'all see the 50 EMA, ATR trailing stop, and a level that we have marked here around the 205.73. I love to see this, right? So that means there's a strong area of resistance here for Amazon. So if you're trading Amazon, again, not financial advice, at 205.73 could be a strong resistance area. Now, should we break that, the next level I have is around the $200 and 206.64, which is really close to our 200 EMA, which is right here at the 206.91. So immediately my eye goes to this area here, and I wanted to point that out and mark those levels really, really quick. Why? Because breaking this 200 EMA area around the 206.91, price still has some issues around the 207.92 and again 208.66. Why? Because y'all see the body of the candles kind of gathered in the area here and kind of like right here. So definitely need to watch that if you're trading Amazon, really close to AMD. If you're trading Amazon today, again, not financial advice, y'all. I said often mark your levels once it goes against your why or your reason for getting in the trade, get out, right? So we are looking at Meta. We closed at 653.56, and as you can see, price came down to an area we kind of knew we could possibly have trouble, 638.61 as support. Resistance was around the 643.98. Breaking back to the upside, 644.99, we could have trouble there. 645.83, we could have trouble there. Possibly 646.99, another trouble place for us. And if we should break that, 648.05, 649.20, 650.02, and breaking that 651.55, which brings us back to this area here. So if you're trading Meta today, those are possible areas of resistance. Again, not financial advice. Breaking that 651.55, we can have trouble again, 653.01, 654.04, 655.22. Now, back to the downside. Let's say we break under the 640.42. There's a few layers. We see it there, right? Should we break that, we could very well come back to around the 639.05 and breaking that level, 637.70, and breaking that. There's a few layers of support from Meta down to the 630, 647. And as you can see, that's where we were on this area here. So down, let's say from this 637.70 down to the 630.647, there's a few areas of support. So breaking that, the next level, 635.43, 634.64, and around the 633.80. Should we break that for Meta today, 632.74. So those are a few areas of support and resistance for Meta today. I said often, y'all, not financial advice, right? So yes, NVIDIA, Tesla, and the SPY is very congested. I know, but y'all, it works for me. I could pretty much tell you where some of the trouble places would be, right? 182.48 is where NVIDIA closed at. I'm going to see if I can make this a little bit visible for us so that we can, get it a little bit clearer, right? So we found support down here around the 176.16. We can say resistance around the 178.58 area, right? So where are the trouble places back to the upside? Right now, we need to clear back. Let's say if we break above the 178.58, we could possibly have trouble again. 178.86, 179.16, 179.35, 179.51, 179.74, 179.94, and y'all see that 180.12 is really close to that ATR trailing stop around the 180.21. I just love to see that, y'all. Just simple support and resistance, right? So those are trouble places or resistance areas for NVIDIA. Back to the downside, let's look and see where we are. 177.43 could be a support area. 177.26, 176.89, which here, and breaking that for NVIDIA today, 176.60. Should we break the 176.60 area for NVIDIA today? Let's see, 176.38, and again 176.16, breaking that for NVIDIA, 175.88. Now breaking the 175.88, 175.47, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So if NVIDIA is something that you trade, I said often, y'all, mark your levels, make sure you have the discipline to get in at the right time and out at the right time, right? That's really important for trading, right? So let's go look at the SPY. Just to see where we are today. And what's interesting is we closed at the 686.38, but y'all see we came down and bounced exactly at a level we kind of knew we could possibly have trouble. Do you just right at that area? I love to see that, right? So let's say where the trouble places for the SPY today. We were having trouble here at 675.89, again at 676.68. If we should break that, we could just use this area 678, breaking that 678 for the SPY. 678.47. There's a few layers here at 679.16 up to the 679.35 area. However, breaking that 679.95, and should we break that 680.37, which is really close to that ATR trail and stop at the 680.34. Now, should we break that area, we could very well have trouble again around 681.35. And should we break that, 681.78 up to the 682.12. Those are possible areas of resistance for the SPY today. Now, to the downside, if we should break under, let's say we come back under the 674.38. There's a few layers down here from, 674.06 down to the 673.61. Now, breaking the 673.61, y'all see that 673 area held us up before. However, breaking that, there's 672.66 down to the 672.20, which held us up here. I love to see it. Now, breaking that area, we could possibly have trouble 671.86, 671.48, 671.23. So there's a few layers of support, let's say from the 672.71 all the way down to the 671.18 for the SPY today. Now, breaking that, we could very well come back to 670.66, 670.35 or 669.85. Under that 669.45, the market does what the market does. Let me say that, right? So if you're trading the SPY today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. And I said often, y'all, in this market, anything is possible, right? So we are looking at Tesla, and again, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? Yesterday, we came off of a 388 low to a 405, I think 404, 405 high on yesterday, which is interesting, right? That's just how Tesla does. Now, where the trouble places, what's interesting is this low that we made, 391. Let's see, the low of this candle here is 390.07. Pre-market 390.07, or after hours trading, let's say that the high of this candle, which is our 7 o'clock candle, which was at 397.39. So Tesla's kind of trading in that range as of right now. Where are the trouble places back to the upside? We will need to get back above that 395.43 area, which was around our 200 EMA on the daily chart. That's important, right? So breaking that for Tesla today, we could still have trouble 396.66. 397.16, 398.09, and again 398.62. However, breaking that 398.62, we could possibly have trouble again, $400.56. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here for Tesla. Now, breaking that today, we could possibly have trouble again, 401.32, and again 402.11, which puts us kind of where the 200 EMA is on this 30-minute chart. Again, not financial advice. Let's look to the downside, right? So Continuing to the downside, we break under the 393.24, which we kind of got held up. The low of this candle, 393.08. Breaking that, the next level is around 392.73, 391.97, 391.34. 390.42 and breaking that 389.67. Now, should we break the 389.67? It will not surprise me to see us back at a 389.01 or the 388.17. For some reason, yesterday we hit that 388 twice. We were hit it pre-market, ran up, came back down to that, that 388 area. So it's interesting, interesting, right? So now, under the 388.17 for Tesla today, the next level is around 387.75. And should we break that, 386.99? Now, breaking the 386.99 for Tesla today, 384.91. And then at 383.39, should we break that, 381.68. Keep in mind, we can get stopped out anywhere in this area, or this area for Tesla today. I say it often, not financial advice, y'all. Mark your levels, find your support and your resistance, and it's important to at least go to the gathering spot, find where price is gathering, mark those areas, because it's a strong possibility it's coming back to that place, right? So this is what I see when I look at the market. I say it often, y'all, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you, and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan, making sure, again, you have a plan before going into the trade. So I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. If you could please like, share, subscribe. Y'all, I said often, we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.